The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Loudermilk, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ray, thank you for being here today. Unfortunately, we aren't able to question Sam Bankman-Fried. I was looking forward to that, and however, I was concerned that you were going to testify first. I would have rather have had him testify first so we could qualify some of the statements that he may make with you, who's in the current position. However, since we've been in here, there's been a leak of what was to be his testimony that has come out. And I'd like to ask you about something that he has related in his testimony. He said if he had not been arrested ahead of today's hearings, that he alleges that FTX U.S. has been and remains solvent and could pay off all of its customers tomorrow. Given the evidence you have and what you've gathered, is there any degree of truth to this claim?
We still have a hole in the U.S. So it's, as we sit here today, it is not solvent. That's just inaccurate, and I'm not sure how would you even know that, quite honestly. So we're hopeful because the number of customers and the volume of trading on the U.S. exchange was much smaller than .com, somewhat driven by the number of withdrawals that took place before the bankruptcy on the U.S. silo. But right now we have a few $100 million of value. Again, you have to look at value as of, say, today.
Right.
Still missing. We haven't ultimately, though, found all the keys to the wallets. As we find and open those wallets, hopefully we'll be able to find more assets. And if we can attribute those to the U.S. silo, certainly there's a pathway to recovery there. And so, really the case isn't closed yet on the U.S. It's just premature, to make a determination such as his.
So there is a potential that what he is claiming is true, but so I guess that would be the reason why all of the assets in those wallets have been frozen on the U.S. side. My follow-up question would be, if they are solvent, why would we freeze those? And along with that, is there any evidence of commingling of funds between FTX.com, FTX U.S., or Alameda, or any of the three together?
That's what we have. That's what we're looking at right now. I can't, give you a clear answer on that today. We're looking, when we open up all the wallets, we look where the source is from whence they came. We'll have an answer for you, but it's just much too early to tell you that.
I appreciate that, but summarizing, there's not evidence right now that his statement would be true that FTX U.S. is completely solvent.
Well, clearly not.
Okay. And something else that he did previously, he stated that the Bahamian regulators, he gave the Bahamian regulators a one-day advance warning to allow investors in the Bahamas to withdraw their funds. No one else outside the Bahamas was able to withdraw funds before the bankruptcy was filed. Mr. Fried said that he allowed the withdrawals because, quote, it was critical to the exchange to be able to have a future because that's where I am right now. And you do not want to be in a country with a lot of angry people in it. Is this explanation accurate?
Well, here's what we know. I mean, I can't speak to his words. What we do know is the liquidation proceeding in the Bahamas was filed effectively 24 hours before our Chapter 11 proceeding. During that time period, and we've documented this in our court filings as of last night, the accounts were unfrozen just in the Bahamas. Over $100 million was released to approximately 1,500 customers in the Bahamas.
Did you say 15 million or 15
100 million
100 million.
to 1,500 customers approximately. Okay. These are approximate numbers.
Okay.
And then the door was closed about the time of our Chapter 11 filing. And there were communications between Mr. Bankman-Fried and the Bahamian government specifically related to this leakage of assets.
So Mr. Fried would have known that the bankruptcy filing was imminent when he did this?
Yes, he was certainly in discussions with his counsel, who was in discussions with the debtor's counsel.
All right. I see my time is quickly running out. Thank you for for what you're doing and trying to recover what assets we can. And, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.